Hello everyone, this is Hylian Musicology. Yesterday, October 6, I completed my first playthrough of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I have a lot of positive thoughts about this game and the way it successfully blends the old formula of Zelda and the newer style. However, I wanted to cover one of the more critical thoughts that I had while playing through Echoes, one that I haven't seen other creators talk about quite yet. Not that I'm a person who overly focuses on the negative, but I think most reviews and content creators have covered in depth all of the great things about this game and some of the less favorable elements. Things such as the frame rate and UI problems didn't sour my experience really at all. It would have been nice if those issues weren't there, but overall these things only brought the game maybe a single point down for me. The biggest criticism I have for Echoes of Wisdom, and this is admittedly something that probably won't bother most people as much as it did myself, is simply that they went too far in emulating certain decisions made in Breath and Tears. Now, it's no secret that Echoes of Wisdom takes heavily from the design philosophy of Breath and Tears, more so Tears in my opinion. The open-world nature of Echoes is something not seen before in a 2D Zelda. Climbing on top of trees and access to a horse companion are great examples of this open-ended philosophy. Puzzle solving also adapts a similar structure to Breath and Tears, with multiple solutions being possible for most puzzles. But at the same time, it reintroduced critical features of Zelda games that had been painfully missing for 11 years since A Link Between Worlds, the last 2D top-down Zelda. Features such as themed dungeons, locked doors requiring small keys, boss keys to access the dungeon's boss room, heart pieces scattered about the overworld. These are all things that many Zelda fans, including myself, missed about the pre-Breath of the Wild games. It is exactly this hybridization of the two styles of Zelda that I love so much about Echoes of Wisdom. In most ways, it is successful and makes me incredibly hopeful for the next 3D mainline Zelda. Unfortunately, the aforementioned aspect that they went too far with is the title screen and the end credits sequence. What? The title screen? The end credits? That's your biggest complaint about Echoes of Wisdom, you say? Yes, I reply. That is my biggest complaint, and let me show you why. Remember the Zelda games of yore? The melancholic title screen of Ocarina of Time. The Jolly Clocktown theme being supplanted by Majora's eerie, sadistic nature. The Celtic-inspired flute of Wind Waker. The somber reflection of Twilight Princess. The open sky of Skyward Sword and no music? Yes, my friends, as much as I love Skyward Sword, this is where the unfortunate lack of a proper title screen theme begins in our beloved Zelda series. I can't say with certainty, but following Hidemaru Fujibashi's directorship of the Zelda series, we haven't had any title screen themes. In Breath of the Wild, I can almost understand it since the beginning of the game is so impactful. This is the first time we assume control of Link as a named protagonist, and he has a notable lack of memory. The silence of Breath of the Wild's title screen could be interpreted as a depiction of Link's amnesia, his 100 years of sleep, or any number of other possibilities. But in Tears of the Kingdom, yet again we have nothing except ancient Hylian glyphs and silence. So now, with Echoes of Wisdom once more lacking a title screen theme, we've now gone almost 20 years since the last true title screen in Twilight Princess. And no, I'm not counting A Link Between Worlds' reuse of the Link to the Past title theme, as much as I love A Link Between Worlds. I desperately hope the next mainline Zelda foregoes this unfortunate trend and gives us a proper title theme. And now, the end credits. Let's talk about the end credits. And of course, if you haven't finished Echoes of Wisdom, consider this your spoiler warning. I loved the conclusion of Echoes of Wisdom. I appreciate how respectful the team was in regards to old lore. The Triforce breaking apart into 3 pieces when Echo Zelda tried to take it for Null was just absolute peak. It was so good. Even just the Triforce existing at all and the presence of the Golden Goddesses, it makes my weary heart very, very happy. So when the credits started up, and it was just the same thing we've seen in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it was disappointing. If you haven't played the pre-Breath of the Wild Zelda games, you might have no idea what I'm talking about. So after the conclusion of the narrative in these games, you are treated to a unique medley arrangement of important themes from throughout the game. I believe Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword are the best examples of this. With Twilight Princess, we start with an optimistic, upbeat arrangement of the Hyrule Field theme. Which includes the Courage theme, as well as the main Legend of Zelda theme. In the middle of the track, a more subdued piano starts playing these themes as well. While this music is playing, we see where the characters end up in active cutscenes, not just still images. I'm going to take a minute of this video's runtime to remind you what we got in Twilight Princess. Sit back, relax, and let the vibes flow. Moving on to Skyward Sword, this was the first Zelda game to utilize a live orchestra in its soundtrack as opposed to the MIDI that had been standard previously in Zelda. The composers took full advantage of this in the end credits sequence. Following this really bombastic opening, the Ballad of the Goddesses is treated to a lovely oboe solo with harp accompaniment. The orchestration builds in dynamic and instrumentation, transitioning into a heroic rendition of the main Legend of Zelda theme. Following this, a delightful flute and harp duo gives us the Skyloft theme. Next is a waltz-like variation of the Ballad of the Goddesses once again. Which leads us back into the same opening theme from the beginning of the credits. This is how you do end credits. In Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and now Echoes of Wisdom, all we get is town themes, title card themes, champion, and sage themes back to back as if they just dragged the WAV files into Pro Tools and lined them up next to each other. No lie, that's seriously what they did. It's just disappointing to get this lack of effort in something that Zelda games used to excel in. They were proud of finely crafted credit sequences with unique arrangements and cutscenes showing us the conclusion of micro-stories of the characters we grew to love. As I said at the beginning of this video, I have so many good feelings about Echoes of Wisdom. I'll get more into these things in future videos, but I just wanted to put out a video with a topic I haven't seen others talk about yet. If you liked this video and want to see more, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any topics you'd like me to cover, comment those below. As a new channel, I need all the ideas I can get. Thank you so much for watching.